probably 10 significant aspects that are really gnarly about surfing Mavericks.
The rocks on the inside are like skyscrapers. That's always been my biggest fear, getting smashed into the rocks.
The wave height, just the mass of the wave, how big the waves are.
There's so much fear there that I figure out every option I have.
Colossal, towering, steep with its drop as it jacks up down the line, occasionally throwing some great white sharks and limb-ripping, barnacle-encrusted rocks on the inside of the break in 50-degree water. You have a place we affectionately call Mavericks. How's it going, everyone? Pat Parnell, and I'm joined by Kevin Delaney, and it is this place that is considered to be the definitive benchmark for surfing's purists who quest for the unbridled passion of big wave paddle and surfing. The years that they've had this event, one man has dominated, Daryl Verosco.
Yeah, the conditions that you mentioned, it just sounds like so tough out here for sure. To have one man dominate that 3 events in a row, the man known as Flea in the surfing community, the big story, Flea is out today. I got a chance to talk to Flea's brother, who's also competing, Troy Verosco. He says Flea knows the torch will be passed. He's here to support Troy, see if he can keep the title of Mavericks champion in the family. But Troy has a big challenge ahead of him. Not only the conditions, but the cast of characters here. Some local standouts, the veteran Peter Mel, the young and hungry upstart Anthony Tajnik, and the global contingent of riders like Carlos Burley from Brazil, also Garrett McNamara from Hawaii. Great swells out of the Northwest, 18 to 20 feet, and most importantly, variable and light wind conditions to keep the wave faces smooth. It's all here.
Yeah, we hope it remains stellar. Before we get underway with the competition, we go to the third member of our broadcast team, former world champion surfer, Sean Thompson.
Out here in the lineup at Mavericks, you can see why this is considered one of the most intimidating waves in the world, possibly the most intimidating wave in the world. The wave comes up on a shallow, rocky reef. These swells come in from the North Pacific and just unload on this reef. And it is just so dangerous. A friend of mine, Mark Fu, lost his life here a few years ago. And it is just such a challenging, intimidating wave. And the way to win the event today, the absolute key to winning, is taking that big, dramatic airdrop.
Thanks a lot, Sean. And with conditions steadily improving, Mavericks is allowing just that. On 24 hours' notice, surfers and fans have flocked to Half Moon Bay.
Hey, there's waves out there.
Yesterday, typical winter Central California coast weather. Stormy, windy, and rainy. Today, the skies have cleared, allowing for the 4th surf contest to be held at Half Moon Bay at Mavericks.
Perfect conditions, a must-have prerequisite for this contest. Today, definitely a standout day here at Mavericks. Super clean light winds and base heights of up to 35 feet expected.
And up and surfing, Desi, Shane Desmond out of Midtown Santa Cruz, 35 years old, surfing goofy, so he's on his backhand. Not an easy task at Mavs.
Mavericks offering up enough challenges as is. An outstanding cast of judges led by the legend Gary Linden. The judging criteria fairly unique here in the big wave surfing world. They're looking at the takeoff, the big drop, the quality of ride, and also the size of the wave. Very important. The scoring criteria also unique. The best ride of the heat. Your best scoring wave is doubled. Your second best ride is then added to that doubled score. Only the top 3 surfers advancing out of each heat.
And Brock Little, making the drop an inspiration to so many surfers, has surfed so many big waves. Even this wave can induce fear in a guy like Brock.
Mavericks is always intimidating. I mean, you can't get by that. Sky's sunny, it's a, beautiful, clear, light winds, and some really big surf. It's not about my competition or who I'm surfing against or how big the waves are. It's kind of like if I want it or not.
So Brock Little scored a 29 in his first wave, dropping in the Condor, Peter Mel.
Widely regarded as one of the best all-around surfers here, whether it be paddling or towing in. He placed 3rd here last year, but look at this rail set. just sets his fin at the top of the wave as the wave pitches out and goes vertical. Mel poised in critical conditions, his style emulated by many.
And Tyler Smith in the purple opting out, allowing Brazil's most prominent big wave surfer, Carlos Burley, to drop in, almost get a little cover there from some whitewater. So Carlos's first wave, a score of 30 out of a possible 40. Now, Peter Mel scored coming in 33.5. That was the highest scoring wave you've seen so far. And Brummett drops in. Oh!
Mike Brummett over the falls, the wave absolutely jacking from what was a transition to beyond vertical. A horrific wipeout right into the pit. Hopefully Brummett's okay, only to get clobbered by another wave. Looks like he had time to catch a breath in between it before the dreaded double wave hold down, and Desmond on a monster.
Shane Desmond, notorious for monster drops at Mavericks, does just that, able to hold on. I do not know how he got it together, just feathering the edge on that drop.
The board shifts slightly to Shane's right. That extends his vertical drop down this ever-increasing wave face. Shane somehow balances. That's a testament to the training he's put in this season.
A huge drop, great score with his back to the wave.
You have a blind side, on your backside a little bit, but I've been surfing backside my whole life, so I don't feel like it's any hindrance to me. Well, the takeoff felt good. It was all the chop on the surface of the wave when I was riding down the face, and that's where I lost my balance for a second, and then regained it, and then rode the wave in.
Brock Little paddling and surprising, hasn't even been surfing much lately. Has actually been focusing on working as a stuntman on a movie in LA, made the drive up to Mavericks, but a great first tee.
Stuntman action right here, indeed. The slightly built Brock Little handling these big conditions, Mavericks and around the world, with such poise, such confidence.
And a 33.5 on that last wave for Brock Little as we look at the Heat 1 scores. Big surprise, Peter Mel not advancing. Top three move on, Shane Desmond, Tyler Smith, and Brock Little. So with Daryl Verosco out with injury and Peter Mel not advancing, the question remains, who will reign king at Mavericks? On one of the best swells we have seen in the past few years, will it be the established veterans or the young guns? We'll find out when we return to Half Moon Bay. Welcome back, everyone, to a beautiful sunny day here in Half Moon Bay, California for the Mavericks Surf Contest. Pat Parnell along with Kevin Delaney and Sean Thompson. And the swell still continues to fill in as we get underway with heat number 2.
Big battle for this large set wave. In purple, Ryan Augenstein, a heroic drop. Looks like his line is set, established himself on this wave, but Collins tries to sneak underneath. That's Kenny Collins in white, who not only takes an interference call, but pays the price dearly. Looks like he has a board switch, broken board indeed.
And Russell Smith drops in. The wave completely spits out Mavericks, starting to show its ugly teeth. And for any surfer that has spent time at this wave, they know it is a place that you pay life-risking dues.
You could get killed out there almost on any given day.
What that wave can do is incredible. I mean, I've had a two-wave hold down, which is a long hold down. And, on top of that, you're getting shooken and rattled and rolled like you've never felt before.
It's Mother Nature that can take you out whenever it wants, really. So there's always that chance of death, or injury, or brand new board breakage.
Going over the falls and going really deep and coming up, and like there's sometimes those feelings where you're so deep and you're coming up going, I don't even know if I should come up. I wonder if I should stay down here because any time another wave's gonna break.
The scared straight is it kind of makes me focus on what I need to do to survive.
I mean, there's some people that surf and it appears as though they're surfing with reckless abandon, but there's really the ability to do it in a very calculated way so that you're minimizing your risk. And if you do that, it seems to build on itself in terms of building confidence and eliminating the fear.
So back out in the lineup, Ryan Augenstein, his second wave, 21 years old, very dedicated surfer.
Check out the jacking face of this Mavericks wave. What was a smooth transition turns into a vertical face so fast. A near airdrop for Augenstein and another great scoring wave.
A 37 for Ryan Augenstein on his second wave. Russell Smith up again.
And riding one of the shortest boards I've heard of anyone riding here at the contest, a 9'2", short by Maverick standards.
And showing tenacity, Augenstein nabs yet another wave in this heat. Augenstein, a recent newcomer to Mavericks, talks about how special it is to surf this place for the first time.
When I got to the beach of that first session, it really felt like I was just high on life, and I looked at everything differently, looked at people differently, and I remember getting and feeling the ground and feeling solid soil and really just going, wow, I accomplished something really big.
Out the back, Ken Collins drops into a clean one. Now remember, there was that interference call between him and Ryan Augenstein earlier, so the very challenging deficit for him to climb out of.
Challenging a big peak in blue, Jake Wormout, but snagging it is Kenny Collins, showing his 15 years of experience here, and an absolutely beautiful Mavericks wave. Look at the style in Collins, an epic ride.
Surprisingly low for Collins on that wave, a 30.8, and Matt Ambrose, 33 years old, drops it. Part of Jeff Clark's original Pacifica-based crew, his strongest wave of the heat. So with the second heat done, Ryan Augenstein, Matt Ambrose, and Ryan Seelbach will advance, but the story of this heat has to be Kenny Collins.
6 surfers paddling for the biggest wave. Interference going to be an issue today. Not only do you lose a wave score, but your second best score is cut in half.
You also see Daryl Verosco's name on that heat. He was supposed to surf, but as we mentioned, out with injury. And of all the amazing personalities that Mavericks has produced, he is hands down the most colorful, charismatic character to date. Flea has dominated Mavericks, taking home the last 3 trophies and scoring the only 10-point wave at last year's competition.
And the judges loved it. The perfect score, a 10.
Flea's pretty gnarly. He's got an image that he's this super gnarly hardcore guy. He's pretty much true to the image he puts off.
Flea is very successful in most big wave events because he's fearless. He really, I think he likes the abuse.
Daryl Flea Verosco lives the dream.
I just grew up surfing Kells with small waves and perfect for learning. And you just kind of work your way up. There it goes from, steamer lane to up the coast to Mavericks. Mavericks is definitely made my livelihood and made me who I am. I bought a house and I've been really successful surfing Mavericks.
Then came December 15th, 2004, at the Eddie Aikau Big Wave Invitational.
Sean Thompson here in the lineup at Mavericks with the winner of the last 3 events, Flea Verosco. Tell us about the wipeout at Waimea that injured you.
I jumped because I knew it wasn't makeable, and it was definitely too hollow in my legs. Not 100%, so I don't want to go risk it.
When we come back, Mavericks continues to test the limits of young and old. Stay with us.